Good morning. How's everybody today? Doing well, I hope. Thought we would do just a little check-in for my collective. The amount of joy in my heart that it's Friday is immeasurable. So I think I'm just gonna do a little like past, present, future kind of check-in, just to see what messages need to come through today. Spirit, thank you so much. Let's see what messages we have for our collective. Let's first look at our current energy. Spirit, I'm going to pull 3 cards for our current energy. Okay, collective, we have Judgment, we have the King of Pentacles, and the Sun. And then for something to be aware of, we have 10 of Wands. It seems to me my first vibe I'm getting from this is you're kind of gone to a place of like I don't know if it's like promotion, or you got to like kind of like a goal. Like the King of Pentacles is giving me, you've gotten to that status, you know, you're maybe a business owner, or you're like in your career, you kind of like checked off your boxes, right? And I feel like you're at the brink of this like success, or like this like business deal, or some like life event that's making you realize where you are in life, you know. Kind of like, it's a little different, but you know, for myself anyways, like both of my parents have passed away. Most of that generation has passed away, so like by default I'm the top of the pecking order, right? It's kind of like a moment like that, like you're in a pause, enjoying the sunshine, enjoying the moment, and reflecting on, you know, everything it took to get here. And I think the Judgment is coming out. I feel like maybe you have a couple of things like, oh, I wish I would have done this a little differently, whatever, you know, but you made it to this sunshiny place that you can pause for a minute. And I think the thing to be aware of is, it was hard to get to this point. You put a lot of work in, so like to give yourself a little grace when you're like judging, when you're nitpicking yourself. You put all this effort into bettering yourself or achieving this goal or whatever, don't go back and then be like, oh well, but this. No, you've done it. You've done it. Learn your lessons from whatever those are, and let it go with the whole thing. Don't go back and try to ruin your accomplishments by like devaluing them or looking for something wrong. You don't need to find something wrong. Just enjoy your sunshine for a minute. Yeah, enjoy it. Enjoy putting those wands down. Alright, Spirit, tell me, we're going to look at the past. What was the past that led up to this? What's a little intake into the past that led up to this great vibe? You know, and possibly people could be judging you as well for whatever. Doing your own thing, maybe. Okay, so for your past, so something significant that happened or is like a big factor is the Five of Pentacles. So to me, you were probably feeling like broke and left out and lack mentality, poverty mindset, things like that. So it looks like what had happened is this opportunity came in, and this could have been a while ago. It could have been a while ago. And you kind of like, you weren't sure about it, but I think you were at the point like, well, I need to take this chance, right? So you're kind of like, weary in your head, Eight of Swords, I'm getting for this. You know, you worked hard at whatever this, you got this opportunity, you know, at a time when you were stressed, when you were in your head, when you couldn't figure out a problem, and you jumped on it, and you like worked your butt off at this, and it looks like you did well. Yeah. I think you were wise enough to realize, like, wait a minute, this is a real tangible opportunity that's coming in. And it's going to take a little bit, but I think it will be worth it, yeah. Let's look into the future. Ooh. Alright, so we have the Three of Wands, we have the Four of Pentacles in reverse, which is odd for my decks. The Star, and then something notable to be aware of is the King of Wands. Yeah, so in the future, you know, you've gone through whatever this is, whether this was like a training or schooling or whatever it was that you put in this effort to work towards this goal, to get out of that lack mentality. You know, so now you've reached this goal, you have these skills, it's kind of, you know, out there in the universe, you've done this work, and now you're kind of waiting to see, like, what's next, what's going to come of this, what can I now do with this? And, you know, Four of Pentacles in reverse, I feel like, where you were in that lack mentality, that poverty mentality, you were probably very guarded and holding on to whatever you had, and like hoarder everything and trying to control everything, and because you had control over nothing, you know. But now you've eased up a little bit, And you're realizing that you don't have to hold on so tightly to everything. You can kind of just let things be. Yeah. And because you've learned these lessons, and I think that's a big key one, is to the letting go. With the star coming up, I feel like that's saying, yes, you're like on the right trajectory. The fact that you recognize this opportunity coming in and jumped on it is that was the start of this path, and this is correct. A little something significant for the future to be aware of. King of Wands, I think that's kind of like I feel like that's like kind of like signifying what's your ending energy gonna be like once you get there. You've put in the work, so you have the confidence. The King of Wands is confident, and like a good personality and all this kind of stuff. Fiery, goes after what he wants. Passionate. So I feel like you're like pumped because you did it, and now you're like, yeah, all right, what's next? Bottom of the deck is the Nine of Cups. So, self-love and fulfillment. And I think that's what it was all about to start everything. Was finding that fulfillment. Definitely with that lack mentality coming in. Alright, Spirit, let's get some more details. Going from using big decks to like normal sized decks is like so strange. Okay. Alright, Spirit, tell me, what is this Knight of Pentacles? What was this opportunity that collective took advantage of in the past? The Lovers. Still kind of like a mind over heart decision. Like you decided to take this. Let me have one more about that. What is the Lovers over the Knight of Pentacles? Sun. Okay, what's the Eight of Swords? What was keeping collective in their head about this? What was the hang-up? Maybe you weren't sure if you were going to be victorious. You were a little self-sabotaging, I think. I think this was a great opportunity because, like, the Sun and the Lovers, and so it was like a life decision that if you took it, you would end up in the Sun. But you wouldn't know that for sure then. You know, you wouldn't know that for sure. You have to, like, trust yourself. Eight of Swords, you're worried that you were about being victorious. Tell me about the Eight of Pentacles, please. The Queen of Wands. That makes sense, because the Queen of Wands is, again, kind of like the King of Wands. She's going to go after what she wants. You know, and a lot of times the queens are kind of looking to the past, so I feel like seeing this opportunity and deciding to take it, even though you were worried about being victorious, putting all the work in, you step into this Queen of Wands energy to take action because in the past you hadn't, and you were like, I wonder what happens if I do something. Kind of like, I have to do something different this time. So you just did it. Okay, yeah, so for something significant about the past, the Five of Pentacles, the lack mentality, the poverty, the, you know, that type of feeling, we got it again to confirm, but we also got the World. So I feel like that's saying, you know, you were tired of this, you were ready for the cycle to be over, and that's what prompted you to do something differently than you have in the past. Is because you really, when you're really ready to make a change, you will do things differently, and you will put an effort that you didn't before, and you will have more of an interest, and it will matter more. You know, it's like, it's a different perspective when you really want to do something, rather than, oh, I'm supposed to do this, I should do this. If you're broke enough, you're gonna do it. Alright, Spirit, thank you. Tell me about, currently, tell me about this judgment. What is the judgment for? The Two of Pentacles. Yeah, maybe it's how you handle things. Maybe you're kind of like wishing you handled things a little bit differently. Maybe in survival mode you were less than kind to everybody while you were struggling, and now that you're feeling okay, you can kind of look back and be like, I'm also getting, as you're pausing and kind of looking at the new threshold that's upon you from making these changes, you know, nothing but good things. You're going to move forward. Things are going to start looking different. And I think the judgment in the Two of Pentacles is you also kind of figuring out how you feel about, you know, again, like I said, there are going to be people who are judging you for changing, whether it's good or bad. How you're integrating your old self with your new self, I think this is part of that too. Because you're realizing, like, things don't fit, and, like, things are starting to not fit. It doesn't happen all at once, you know, just like, I'm not talking to anybody anymore. It's kind of like you start noticing little things about people, or, you know, things maybe you used to do, or things you maybe used to watch, or things you used to listen to, or things you know, different things you're like, I don't really feel that way anymore about that. But if other people are not on that same journey, they're still going to be the same, you know. So it's going to be like, what do you mean you don't? Whatever. What do you mean you don't drink anymore? No one's ever judged me for not drinking. But I'm just saying, like, I know people like, what do you mean you don't drink? Things like that. And you're wondering where you're going to fit now. Tell me about the King of Pentacles. Yeah, I think Temperance. Yeah. And the Sun. And the Ten of Wands. Alright, I think, so yeah, so you're kind of going over everything you had, good and bad, just reflecting, and I think because you put all this work in, you know, and you're gaining money, and you're gaining your status, and you're moving up in your job, or whatever it is, you know, you're in this King of Pentacles energy. With Temperance over that, I feel like that makes sense because like you're very grounded at this time and you're making sure everything's flowing well. Again, I get that same vibe with Temperance mixing the waters of balance and like some peace in your life finally after you've learned to like take a step back. Now that you feel like you have like more solid footing, you can kind of get out of that survival mode. Well, and it's showing because, you know, this opportunity was saying, hey, if you take this, you know, this is your pathway into the Sun. And here we are at the Sun card now that you're experiencing. You're able to enjoy the moment, the fruits of your labor, so to speak. People are also noticing the work you put in. Like, oh my God, like, I guess they were serious, right? Mm-hmm. And you have a community around you now, like supporting you that maybe you didn't before, because you weren't doing anything. You know, it's like people were tired, like, yeah, we've heard it before. We know you're gonna do this. Now they're seeing you actually do it, and it's a little different. Like, oh, you're actually doing it now. We knew you could, that kind of thing. But you do have support. And then something notable, the Ten of Wands, you know, like I said, getting to that end, being able to put those wands down. Knight of Wands. I feel like now that you've done this, that's what I was going to say earlier about the King of Wands versus the King of Pentacles. I think now that you've like, I can do this, I can achieve these things, and you feel good about yourself, and you've had these accomplishments that people are seeing what you're doing, you know, and that's prompting the Knight of Wands to be like, well, let's put these wands down and let's go have an adventure, right? Because that's like the next card, pretty much. I mean, page in between, but like, let's go have an adventure. Let's go take all these new skills and freedom and lightheartedness that I have found, and let's go do stuff, guys. Yeah, I feel like you have a whole different, like, you probably, I think you were like not hanging out with people, and you were like just kind of going along in your own misery. And now it's like you have this confidence about you, which you could have always had. It's hard to take that first step though, especially when you're scared about the victory of it. Like you're afraid of failure. It's so hard. Don't be afraid to fail. We all fail. I fail every day. I fuck shit up every day, and I fix it. All right. Okay, all you gotta do is be like, I fuck shit up, guys. People will be like, yeah, I fuck shit up too. People are not as rigid as you think they are. They don't care. I think people are more likely to be understanding if you're honest and be like, I'm human, I'm sorry. Depending on the severity of the wound, you know, of course. But tell me about this Three of Wands for the future. Oh, the Emperor and the Fool. Yeah. I love it. How about this Four of Pentacles in reverse? That's two very different energies embodying the same thing. I'm going to get into it. Tell me about this Four of Pentacles in reverse, please. Four of Wands. And the Star. What's the Star, please, Spirit? Knight of Pentacles and Five of Cups. And then the King of Wands. Ten of Pentacles. Alright, so this future line I can get in. So the Emperor and the Fool. The Emperor is, you know, you're there by experience, which makes sense with this trajectory of where the path you've been on. But also the Emperor, like the Empress, is kind of like all kings in one, right? He's like the father figure of the tarot. So I feel like it's like saying, okay, so now you're waiting, what's going to come in now? What's in the future? What's to come now that you're in this Emperor energy? From putting all this work in and reflecting and realizing your worth, and gaining the confidence you need. Because now with this Fool, you have a new adventure to embark on. Like you're kind of, I feel like you're looking to the future, like what's in store? What's my new adventure? Like I said, the Knight of Wands, like let's go on an adventure. Let's do something with this. So I think that's what it is. I think you're kind of like making some plans for your next action because now you know you can do it. Now you've done it. Now you have the skills of like, I can do this. I can make a plan. I can set a goal and I can finish it and I can do it. What's my next thing I can do? Give it to me. Bring it on. What's the next thing? Right? Yeah. And then, with you ready to start on this new beginning, you know, okay, so for the Four of Pentacles in reverse, letting go of that, like, miser, I feel like loner, like, saving all your money just in case because you don't trust anybody else, like, the very standoffish, I don't trust anybody else, closed in, I'm making my own foundation because I don't want anybody else to take from me, that type of feeling, right? Now into the Four of Wands, which is like a very good checkpoint in your accomplishments and, you know, evolution and things like that. So it can be like a marriage card, a celebration card, an event coming together under one roof, that type of thing. So, you know, perhaps the Four of Pentacles in reverse could be you're dipping into your savings. Maybe you're buying a house. You know, maybe you've saved up money for all this thing. Maybe you're making a big investment into your future to make yourself have a happy home. This is what it is. You're building your life. And I think at this point in the future, when you're ready for your next adventure, it is like building that happy home. I mean, whether it's with somebody or not, your happy home, the way you envisioned it in the beginning when you didn't know what to do and you first got this offer and you were like, this is what I want, and you like pictured your apartment or your whatever, how you wanted it. You know, and with the Knight of Pentacles back again, right at the end, as in the beginning. Well, oh, I just got the chills. This Knight of Pentacles was the first card. And now it's over the last card. And the last card is the Star, which is your destiny and your, you know, pretty much destined path. So for the Knight of Pentacles to be like, hey, you got this offer coming in and you took it. And you did what you were supposed to do, and you know what? It's there, like it promised it would be at the end. You have the Knight of Pentacles delivering to you at the Star, with the Ten of Pentacles at the end. Oh my God! I think the Five of Cups, the loss and things like that, is a little bit of a mourning of your old life. Because no matter how toxic it is, no matter how stagnant your life is, it's still your life. You know, and there's still parts of you that are going to identify with and associate with parts of that part of your life. And even though you're happy to let it go, you still might have like a nostalgia for it, or sad that you had to let it go. You know, like that you even had to. But in this frame of mind, you know that there are two cups in front of you. Like you're taking a pause and you turn, like I feel like you're going forward. So usually people are like, well, you're focusing on the three cups that are spilled behind you and don't know there are two cups in front of you. I think you do know there are two cups in front of you. And I think you do know that your life is never going to be the same again. And you're never going to be that person again. And you're taking a minute to look back and, you know, mourn the loss of the life you had. You know, be grateful for those lessons. Don't ever regret any lesson you've learned, because it's made you who you are. Thank your lessons. And I think that's kind of what it is. Like, you got your pentacle, the Knight delivered. Right? You're in your Star. You have your Ten of Pentacles, your abundance, and you feel good, and your King of Wands energy, because you're passionate now. You're not like surviving, and I think you're taking a minute to appreciate how far you've come. That's making me emotional, and I don't know if it's because it's hitting a little close to home, or I'm feeling your emotion too. I think it's a little bit of both, but you've come a long way. And anybody who's come a long way like that knows the feeling. And when you can take a minute and reflect and be like, you don't mind looking back, because you don't have to feel it anymore. You're looking back to realize you're not in it. And I think that's where you are. So go enjoy your pentacles. Yeah, and the Three of Wands at the bottom of the deck. You know, waiting for your ships to come in. You put your wants and your ideas and your needs out there, and you're doing the work to get it, so the universe will deliver to you. I think I'm going to get an oracle, and I think I'm going to leave it here. Yeah, whatever it is you're working towards, whatever you did to change your life is awesome. Great job. Great job. Really. Because it's not easy. Expand. You're being asked to expand. You live in a huge world with endless possibilities, and staying safe in the known is no longer working for you. It's time to make your world just a little bit bigger. It's time to imagine the possibilities and go for them. I think you already are. And I think this is showing the abundance you're heading towards. I think you're just starting to feel good about yourself. So hang on to that. Hang on to that. Keep going. Because your new adventure is bringing you to your 10 of Pentacles and your star, and you're on the right path. Great job taking that opportunity. Even, it might have been, like I said, out of desperation, but you did. So just keep going. Don't lose sight now. It's working because you're working. Don't get lax because you're like, oh, this is good, People do that all the time. Stop putting the effort once it starts getting a little comfortable. Stay hungry, my friends. Alright, well, I hope everybody has a great day. Like and subscribe if you're feeling my vibe. And I'll see you on the next video.